The following program is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Good morning, Central Valley. I am your host, Craig Barton, and welcome to the Real Estate Radio Network, the most important hour of radio each week here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Real Estate Radio is a show dedicated to bringing some rational thought to the crazy world that we live in and helping you to rebuild the Central Valley's housing and credit markets. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. And that's exactly what you are going to hear every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Thanks for joining us. As always, it is so good to have my bright, cheery, percolated...
You're talking about Johnny, right?
Did you have your... yeah, Johnny.
Good morning, Craig.
Did you have your coffee this morning?
You know, I had too much coffee this morning. I'm feeling a little chipper this morning.
You're a little hyper?
I'm a little hyper. I am. Watch out.
You came in like a woman on a mission this morning, let me tell you. Hell,
sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
it's so...
You know what? I had the best Easter weekend last weekend, and I've just been glowing ever since.
Did you?
I did.
Good.
I got to spend it with my children.
Good time with the kids?
Yeah, it was just a great time. So, yeah, I'm still glowing. I'm still happy. It hasn't worn off yet.
Well, I like it when you're glowing. Let me tell you. Well, as always, it's so great to have our special guest host, Michelle Pettiscavalli, in the studio with us today. Michelle, again, is a licensed realtor, a face you can trust.
I have a face for radio. Don't forget.
I know. You do have. Thanks so much for getting up. Well, the beauty of real estate radio is Michelle.
It is me.
Right.
I know. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I should have gotten your clearance when I actually wrote this copy months ago.
You didn't really. You didn't ask me.
I didn't get
for input.
Your approval of the proof.
You? No, you didn't.
Okay. Well, the beauty of Real Estate Radio Network is that it gives us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for one full hour each and every week. Our goal is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market, so we can help bring you
back home.
What?
And I did. I updated your Facebook this week.
You did?
I did. The company's Facebook now has a quote, and it says, Craig Barton, our goal is to get you the timely and that quote, because I think it's so good.
I actually given you a bad time on last week's show was enough to drag you.
Yeah, so where's our Facebook?
Guilt is an amazing tool.
It is.
Let me tell you. Well, on today's show, we're going to talk about buying investment properties in today's crazy real estate market. What makes a great investment property? Purchasing an investment property is not for the weak at heart, we do have to say, nor is it for those folks that do not have their financial house in order, but love sitting around and talking about or scheming up expanding on their real estate empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what got us in this problem in the first place. Well, we're going to take a closer look at the process of purchasing an investment property and try to get you armed with some of the do's and don'ts and help set the right expectations as you hunt for the perfect investment property. To help us navigate the waters with this often complicated topic, we have with us licensed realtor Jay Orlowski from Valley White Homes and a local investment property specialist. Jay, thanks for getting up with us, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, Craig.
You want some coffee?
One cup's my limit.
She's a little gal with a coffee wagon, right?
Yeah.
Well, make sure you stay with us. If you have any real estate or real estate financing related questions or questions regarding the information that you hear on our show, call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. You can also check out our resources online at reofresnohomes.com or use Pressford.
Okay, wow. They're not going to let us play with their buttons
They're
anymore.
not going to let us play with their
because every week
big
we jack it up.
Orange ball. Yeah. Well, or use press for keyword
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
to get connected to us anytime. We would love to hear from you. Well, you heard me say press Ford, actually.
Which should have been, what?
Which should have been press 4. Oh, my gosh, the CEO is going to fire me.
I know, he is. He's not going to let you play with his numbers anymore. No more press 4 for you. We're cutting you off.
Yeah, I'm getting cut off. I can tell you. Well, you heard me say press for keyword.
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
Exactly. Well, we want to help show you that you'll only need one button for the rest of your life, or at least until I get cut off. Here. Well, Press 4. What is Press 4? To all our listeners, if you haven't downloaded Press 4, stop, go to your app store, find Press 4, search it PRESS, the number 4, download the app, and we'll help show you that this is the only button that you'll need for the rest of your life. Michelle, you can order pizza with Press 4.
I haven't done it yet.
You haven't tried that?
No, I haven't. You know, really? I use it a lot to call you now that I
Pretty
think about
consistently,
it.
huh?
Yeah.
I'll get you the stats on that because I'm sure there's quite a few Michelle calling Craig. Well, Press 4 is for all those times that you're away from your computer and listening to our show, and now you can get what you want with just one simple push of a button on your mobile phone. Not your mobile home.
You're doing better this week.
I am.
You know, for all the flubs, you're still doing better.
Phonetically, I'm on your task this week. Well, how do you get Press 4? We talked about earlier. Go to press4.com, download the app. You're going to hear us say things like, to call into the show, just use Press 4. That was my radio voice, by the way.
Was it?
Yep. Just use Press 4 keyword.
KMJ, call Craig.
And in this example, your phone will call into our show. One button really can do it all. Hopefully, I hope they really let us keep playing with Press 4 because it's an awesome, awesome tool. If you don't have it, listeners, download it. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. In today's Find Your New Home segment.
Why are you giggling?
Well,
Why are you having some... See, I made you hyper, huh?
you did.
Okay, why are you giggling?
Well, we were talking about the Find Your New Home segment.
You and I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
And what were you saying about the Find Your New Home segment?
I kind of beat you up about it.
You did.
I know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I felt like you don't have to put that in every time
You-
and
you-
make it as, you know. We don't have to make it so lengthy, I guess.
I'm airing our dirty laundry
You are.
on
I'm kind
air.
of like, do I tell the real truth? That I was saying, gosh, that's a long segment for, those Zillow, Trulio,
Well,
Realtor.com, Homes.com people.
Right. Right.
And
well,
your response to me was, shut up. No, it wasn't.
I didn't.
No, you never do.
Not. I
he
did
should,
not.
but he doesn't.
I'm very politically correct.
You are.
Or,
you are.
Yeah.
You try to be.
Well, I think it's, and the reason I say this, I think it's extremely important with our listeners that the home buying process, actually the home finding process, can be so overwhelming that I think it's extremely important that we really try to beat into your heads that each and every week that there is an easier way. And there's an easier way to get your arms around the process. There's so much information out on the web, Movoto, Red Door, Trulia, List Hub. There's so many resources
Right.
that folks find information. I had a client email me this morning, and they were asking about a listing in Yosemite Lakes Park. I couldn't find it. It wasn't on our...
I had the same thing happen today. A client emailed me about a property near their neighborhood, their desired neighborhood.
Right.
Saying it was a HUD. Well, that puppy's long gone.
Right.
Because she was just looking, again, driving through the neighborhood.
The imprint, as far as that information goes out on the web and stays there for quite some time. I don't know when it ever updates, but unfortunately, it's pushed out on the web, and the information doesn't stay updated. Well, if it's a situation where you like to drive the bus, just go to our website at reofresnohomes.com. On the right-hand side, about a third of the way down, under the Find Your New Home box, just sign up for the search, and immediately you'll be able to get timely and accurate information with regards to the inventory that's available in our market. Whatever zip code, whatever city, you can drill it down. Now, let's take it conversely. If you like Michelle to set up that search for you, and you want Michelle driving the bus, you're a bus driver. In your
you know what? I kind of like to drive the bus.
You like being...
I like being in charge.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, we can identify it specifically.
Exactly.
Neighborhood,
We can drill
size,
it down,
et cetera.
street.
And not only that, if you work with someone and it doesn't have to be me, it should be me. But if it isn't me, that's okay. My point being, though, an agent is going to be able to make sure you have the up-to-date information.
Certainly.
Because, for instance, that particular house that she was desiring that was online or in her neighborhood, whatever, it's gone.
Yeah.
Gone with the wind. I've already emailed her back and said it's gone. I'm sorry. We need
Certainly.
to definitely
and
look for
when you
something
say
else.
gone, already closed.
Yeah, HUD's, it's sold.
It's done.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, if you'd like Michelle to set that search up for you, you can give us a call anytime on our offer number at 800-979-3958 or use Press 4 keyword. See, I got it right.
KMJ, call Valley-wide.
And Michelle can help simplify the search for your new home. Well, in today's hot property, we've got they're hot
Okay,
properties.
wait a minute. I'm like, there's hot properties
Yeah.
on our list. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, with inventories being roughly about 1,500 homes currently in Fresno County, and that's single-family residences, it is, let me tell you, it's hot out there.
Right.
And stuff is getting into multiple offers, getting into escrow fast. Today's first property under the hot property segment, this particular property is located at 352 West Goshen Avenue in Clovis, California 93611. This particular popular Windsor two-story model built by Cambridge Homes is an extremely open floor plan with high ceilings, approximately 2,538 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, located near the cross streets, the major cross streets of Alluvial and Peach. It is almost an approved short sale. Almost. We're almost there.
Elaborate.
Yeah. Well,
Almost. When you say almost approved.
Exactly. What happens is, depending upon whether there is 1 or 2 liens on the property, a short sale package or a hardship package is
Already submitted
to the servicer or servicers, and they go through the process of doing their own what we call broker price opinion. Basically, it's the process of having someone, an independent third party, go out. Excuse me, and do an independent valuation of the property, and then come back to us and say, here's what we've got as far as our valuation is concerned. In this particular instance, there are 2 liens on the property, and we're going through the process of getting that short sale approved, and we're getting rather close.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing. It's much easier to market the property.
So can we view this property?
You certainly can.
Right now. Okay, awesome.
Barely right now.
Barely right now.
Barely
Maybe
right
not
now.
tomorrow, but today, definitely.
Today, exactly.
Okay, and then the Windsor's actually there. Cambridge's largest model. That's a big, nice, family-friendly house.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Cool.
Well, this particular property is also located, it's within walking distance to Buchanan Educational Complex.
Nice.
Current list price, $279,900. It is an awesome hot property.
That is.
Well, today's second hot property, come view 4,070. This is a behemoth.
Behemoth?
This place,
is that a word?
The place is so big. That's 4,070.
I think it's perfect myself.
Yeah, it's well.
For just me, of course.
Well, you can easily be in one corner of this particular property and not know what's going on, and there's a party going on downstairs in the opposite corner of this particular property. It's so big. Come view this 4,075 square foot of luxury living at St. Andrews Estates. This particular 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath Gary McDonald home. Gary McDonald, great local builder here in the Central Valley. This home has cherry cabinets, granite countertops, plantation shutters, and gorgeous front doors. 2 bedrooms and 1.5 baths are located downstairs with a huge master suite and 2 additional bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a gigantic game room upstairs. It also has a PebbleTech pool, spa, stamped concrete, covered patio, and decking. Large grass area, laundry room with sink, counter, and storage, 3-car garage, and much, much more. All this and Clovis Unified Schools for only $5,069.
And you know that master suite downstairs? That is a very desirable situation for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, because this may be the home they live until they are no longer, and master bedrooms a lot of times aren't on that first floor, so that's nice.
Right, certainly. Well, if you'd like more information about today's hot properties, please give us a call anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958 or use press 4 keyword
KMJ Hot Property.
and we will send more information about these hot properties right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network.
Are they really looking, though?
I'm sorry?
They're hearing. Look for more hot properties each week right here. Look for them?
Here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hear
well,
for
look
them.
forward to hearing more.
Listen for them.
Listen for
Hear
them.
for them.
Seriously.
Hear for them.
Well, after the
Sorry.
break, we're gonna be talking about something
Going
that's
in a
still
break.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, silliness. I know, hyper.
Right. After the break, we're going to talk about something that still affects so many homeowners here in the Valley, owing more than what your home is worth. Well, what are your options as a homeowner? Well, stay with us. You are not going to want to miss this. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network here on 105.9 the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there's an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valley White Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing investment property, let the experts at Valley White Homes help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Visit our website at reofresnohomes.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958. And put the seasoned professionals of Valley White Homes to work for you.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, are you upside down on your mortgage? How many listeners are we talking to in today's market? Well, there might be more solutions out there than you actually think. You know, Michelle, if you bought your home anywhere, and I say this, bought your home or actually refinanced somewhere in the years of 2003 to 2009, during those same years, you might find yourself, like many homeowners, underwater, unfortunately. And underwater, let's just clarify this. You know me and my definitions.
Yeah, gurgling.
Yeah, underwater simply means that you owe more than what your home is worth, whether you just have a first mortgage or whether you have a first and a second. You're just underwater. Unfortunately, you owe more than what it's worth. Mm-hmm. What are your options if you are underwater still? And if you want to try and stay in your home long term, and it does make sense, we've talked about this in the past on previous shows, and you want to try to provide that stability as far as your family's concerned, what are your options? Well, the first option, we're going to talk about it again, is HARP 2.0, the Housing Affordable Refinance Program, which is a program that was created by the Federal Housing and Finance Agency, has now been upgraded. Well, simply put, what does that mean to homeowners?
Right.
If your loan is owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, you have the ability to be able to refinance now, and it's unlimited loan to values. Okay. So, as an example, before there was a cap, and the caps vary depending upon how the investors in the secondary market wanted to protect themselves or put additional layerings on top of the requirements to be a little more conservative. Well, now it's still the same way because certain wholesalers or certain institutions are putting caps on on what they will do. Others have been are now, what we're seeing is more aggressive and are removing that cap. So if it's, let's give you an example. If you owe if your home is worth $100,000, and let's say you owe $200,000, there's a couple things that you really have to keep in mind. Number one, or you take into consideration as you're going through the decision-making process. If you can make your payments on your home, great, continue to do so. You also have to take into consideration, is there ever going to come a point in time in the future that you're going to catch up? You may be so far behind, given property values in your neighborhood, that you might not be able to recover. Mm-hmm. And if you can't recover, you may end up being one of those folks that either determine that short sale might be a better option for you, and we'll get into that a little bit later in this discussion, or you may determine that strategic foreclosure is something that's up your alley as well. Now, strategic foreclosure just means this, that you at some point make a decision that we are not going to attempt to short sell the property, but we're just going to walk away from the property. We can still make our payments, but there will never be a point in time that we believe in our lifetime that we will ever catch up anytime soon.
Right.
And in 3 years, we could actually from the date that the property is taken back by the servicer, by the lender, we could actually qualify for financing again.
Right.
Because it is 3 years from a foreclosure. Short sale, though, may be an option that you want to take a look at because it allows you to be able to take or maintain some sort of control as far as your exit is concerned. banks are much more pliable nowadays. So selling a property, if you are underwater, is a more popular answer to a lot of folks. The homeowner, the servicer. The servicers have so much data now, and we talked about it last week or the week before on our show. I think it was the week before.
Yeah.
That servicers say that nationally, that the average sales price, comparatively speaking, between a short sale and an REO is 23 or 36% high. It's double-digit numbers in terms of it being a more financially.
Well, they're netting more money.
They're netting more money.
I'm dumbing it down. They're netting more money on a short sale.
On your payments to take advantage of the HARP?
No. It's actually best that you're not.
Yeah, because you're qualifying for a mortgage again. They don't want to see that you're not making your mortgage payment.
A lot of the programs that people are hearing on the radio that they've been talking about, they say people have advised them to stop making payments.
Don't do that.
Then they find out they're in even more trouble.
Right.
Right.
What it's done is pigeonholed them even more, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Jay, because
you lose options.
You do lose options. And let's address it real quick here. Again, we said continue to make your payments if you can at all. The reason why you heard what you heard and what we continue to hear is you've got to be late, is because it gives the servicer leverage when they go to the underlying lien holder's owner. We've got someone that's a statistic here, and they're delinquent, and they need to short sell this particular property. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
It really isn't the case. And if you can continue to make your payments, and we would, or any agent would approach the lien holder or lien holders and go through the process of helping you or assisting you with completing the short sale and hardship package in order to put you in a position to hopefully short sell your home and also maintain greater control as far as exiting that particular property. Because in most instances, the servicer doesn't want to see the property go to foreclosure because, again, there is so much data. They net so much more less or so much less when the day is done. And you also have a property that's vacant that's subject to vandalism, depending upon the location of the property, any sort of break-in that they come in and they trash the doggone place, and it costs them more money. It's much better to have a caretaker that watches over that property.
Takes pride in living there.
Exactly.
Still. Right. They're still mowing the lawn. They don't want to. They don't want to be the yucky house on the block.
Green grass sells way better than brown grass.
True.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's a situation you'd like us to help see if your particular mortgage is owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, give us a call anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. And what we'll do is we'll put you in contact with Michelle. And in order to determine, Michelle or Jay, if your particular mortgage does qualify as a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac owned loan. Now, let's take a look at the flip side. If your mortgage is not owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, what happens? Well, unfortunately, you don't qualify under HARP 2.0. That's the unfortunate thing. And there's only so many mortgages that are owned and serviced owned by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac out there. It's not, how should I say this? It's merely a Band-Aid. It doesn't cover, really, in my estimation, enough mortgages out there to make a significant difference. Now, if your loan, however, is owned by Bank of America, Wells, Citi, Chase, or Ally Bank, formerly GMAC, and not a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac owned loan, there still might be hope. As part of that $26 billion settlement that we continue to talk about here on the show, that settlement has made those companies much more pliable in terms of, we talked about it last week, reducing principal balances on loans, being much more favorable when it comes time for working out something. This last week's show, I talked to a couple homeowners that had loans that were not Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac owned loans. That was a couple of the many calls that we took. Those two, I told them, you need to go back to the servicer and you need to ask them point blank. Script your conversation with them. Ask them point blank. So where's my part of, or where's my portion of the settlement. That $26 billion settlement.
The relief that should be providing people.
Exactly, because principal reduction and rate reductions are all part of what they should be making available as part of that. I will say this. I think it's extremely important as a homeowner. You have to be diligent. And I say this time and time again. Don't take no for an answer. Continue to make the phone call. It may be an every couple weeks you need to make the phone call to ensure that it takes time to get the information to trickle down the food chain so that those people on the front end or the front line in servicing that actually take those phone calls in customer service, that they actually know what's going on. Because it starts at the top, it takes time to trickle down. It takes time for the information to get down to the street so that they can actually help you. Now, let's also talk about one of the things that we continue to see. We talked about a short sale giving you greater control. Let's also talk about relocation assistance. Well, there is what we have seen. We've seen anywhere between $3,000 and $25,000 in relocation assistance for those folks that attempt to short sell their home. It's not a guarantee. It's not something that we can say is going to happen every single time, and no agent should say that it's going to happen every single time. But closed mouth never gets fed. It's extremely, extremely important that we go, when we submit that short sale package, that we ask, because there could be some help for you when it comes time for relocation.
$25,000 is a lot, it sounds like. Is that a percentage of some kind that they're basing that on?
It isn't. And what I will say is this, is the most recent one that I saw, it was a $135,000 purchase price with $25,000 going to the seller.
I see.
Now, that's a huge percentage. Nothing that I would expect to see. I would honestly expect to see something more in line with $3,000, say. But again, the servicers have that data that they can rely on to know that they're much better off to negotiate that short sale now, to pay the seller, to basically, I don't want to say it's bribe money, but really it's money to move this forward quickly, get it done. Exactly. Do what you need to do. It's a bigger carrot to help keep the homeowner motivated to do all that they need to do in order to get the paperwork in, any additional or updated paperwork that needs to get to the servicer, and comply. Because there really is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Well, and the cost for that servicer and the investor to maintain the property through foreclosure, all the fees that go along with the staff that it's taking to provide all of those things for this market is costly. I mean, really.
Certainly.
We beat them up a little bit here and there, but it is a process that they've had to, evolve into this staff and these people, and dollars are being spent there.
And get it right, or as right as they can be, or as right as they're being forced to be by the federal government.
Right.
Well, definitely, if you're determining whether your loan is owned by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, of extreme importance. If it's not, there still may be leverage for you in terms of principal reduction or some potential rate reduction with the actual servicer. If that is not an option for you, a short sale may be. And again, like we said, a short sale is most definitely a more dignified means of transitioning from your current home. What's that?
The word dignified, I don't know. I'm teasing you bad today. No, but it sounds almost like a funeral, and it kind of is. I think, the subject is not the most uplifting, so I'm kind of like,
right?
Well, no, but, it could be the most dignified. And I'm like, really? Am I planning my funeral? Because, it's a depressing subject matter, so I guess dignified might be the nice way to say it.
Well, Michelle, when it comes time for leaving your residence, we here at Serenity Funeral Homes.
I know.
We want to make sure that it's a situation that you don't just get a notice stuck on your door saying that your home is going to sell at the courthouse steps in roughly 21 days.
I gotcha. You want to be able to have some time to pack and prepare, the dignified exit.
Yeah.
The hearse comes up, we pack our crap.
Oh,
I know, I'm teasing.
Gosh. Wow,
put it in the back, we drive to the next place. No, I'm teasing. I'm sorry.
Nasty. Even Johnny can't believe
I'm sorry,
said
Johnny.
That. Okay,
you're going to have to cut
go.
it maybe, I don't know.
So how do I transition from that to the professionals at Valleywide help?
I have to have fun with what I do. That's why I work at Valleywide.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why we have you work at Valleywide.
Hey, my clients have fun.
You are the entertainment.
I am. I walk in the door and they go, oh, my gosh, she's here. What do we do with her?
Well, if you would like us And I'm not going to say dignified, okay?
Yeah, please don't.
I promise. I'll leave it out. All right? If you would like to help.
If you would like to have some fun figuring all this out.
Exactly. To help you determine if a short sale is right for you, or if your existing home loan is owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie. I can't even say this with a straight face now. My gosh. Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, and to help you determine if refinancing really does make sense, because the numbers won't lie. It must make sense. You can call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958, or use press 4 keyword
KMJ, call Valley-wide.
To call us.
And the party will begin.
And the party for you.
In a dignified manner.
In a
dignified party.
Yeah,
it's
dignified
a
party.
Right.
That's right.
This is more of a
keep it clean.
celebration of your mortgage?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how do we attack it?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to let us come back to KMJ after this week.
I don't think so.
Well, if you have any real estate or real estate financing related questions, or want to know why we keep calling it dignified,
yeah, call me. I'll explain.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear from you. That's for sure. Call us anytime on our off-air number. Michelle will explain at 800-979-3958. Or check out our resources online at REO Fresno Homes. Or just use press 4 keyword KMJ, call Valley-wide to get connected to us anytime. Well, after the break, we are going to take a closer look at investment properties. Jay, this is where you're going to shine, buddy. I'm telling you.
Everybody get your sunglasses on.
He's laughing and he's running from the mic.
Because that's why you come.
Where's the off button?
To watch us.
Where's the off button? Funny Johnny says, you know what? They couldn't hear you, Jay. The whole show just couldn't hear you. Well, what's the market like here in the Central Valley, and how can we help better arm you in your quest for your next investment property? Again, we have local real estate professional, investment property specialist, Jay Orlowski, here in the studio with us to help us navigate that minefield for you. We'll see you on the other side of the break. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Mortgage interest rates are at historic lows, and there's never been a more affordable time to buy real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let the mortgage professionals at Valley-wide help. Valley-wide Homes has been helping homeowners with their mortgage needs since 1997. When it comes to the Valley's real estate, we know our way around the neighborhood. Call toll-free 800-979-3958 and put the seasoned professionals at Valley-wide Homes to work for you. Valley-wide Homes, NMLS number 342062, 235-952, California Department of Real Estate License 0122-8460.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, Jay, what makes a good investment property, a really good investment property? Well, first of all, I'm going to dumb it down for me. This is really strictly just for me.
Don't forget to shine, Jay. I got my glasses on. This is your time to shine.
This is your time to shine, Jay.
Okay. Dumb it down for me, please.
This is the definition. We're gonna really dumb it down for me. Okay, not for anybody else, but for me.
Okay.
What is really truly? Some folks are going, you really truly have to define what an investment property is. Well, yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Please do.
Yeah, thanks.
I have.
I will.
Some
I have
people think they have an investment in property and it's not.
Yeah. Well, some people invest in their property.
I have.
And it doesn't make it an investment property.
I have non-occupant co-borrowers. Mm-hmm. Is that an investment property?
No.
Okay, see? We need to clarify.
Then, well, a real estate property is a property that has been purchased with the intention of earning a return on the investment or the purchase, either through rental income or the future resale of the property, or both. An investment property can be a long-term endeavor, such as an apartment building, or an intended short-term investment in the case of flipping, where a property is bought, remodeled, or renovated. We see a lot of that going on in the Central Valley right at the moment.
Tons.
And sold for a profit. Well, let's talk about current market conditions. Both of you, Jay, Michelle. Today's market, we were talking earlier, a little over 1,500 units, active units in Fresno County right at the moment. In March, there were 715 closings or sold, where the status has actually changed to sold. So it means that we've just got a little over 2 months worth of inventory in the market currently. That's really, really competitive. And when folks are looking to gain a return on an investment, whether it's a long-term hold or a short-term hold, and we'll talk about that a little later in our conversation here, it makes it super, super competitive. And it's not just folks here in the Central Valley that are looking to invest in real estate. You see, we talked about it last week, you see folks, money coming from all over the world.
Competition is fierce right now.
Is extremely, extremely fierce. So you've got inventories that are extremely low. And Jay, you said competition is extremely fierce. Home affordability is at a 10, 11-year low. So you've got first-time buyers or buyers that are moving up, wanting to purchase properties. Then you've also got those investors that are coming in and trying to get a piece of the pie as well, because they full well know in today's market there's more folks historically than what there used to be that are wanting to rent or needing to rent because they can't afford to buy yet. And it's not because they can't afford the payment.
Right.
It's because they
don't
can't
have the credit to
qualify
right.
in order to purchase a home.
And rental prices are going up right now. So the cost of renting an apartment is rising. I mean, as more people get out of the houses, apartment rental costs go up.
And that's historically something very, very common. We've seen,
I think they'll go up for a while.
Yeah, I do too.
But then we're going to see them settle and level out because of the volume of investment properties out there. You can truly rent a house less than some apartment complexes. So complexes are going to have to figure that out. But again, that's the whole commercial market, which is a whole different investor-driven beast.
At one point, there will come what's called a tipping point, meaning where the market becomes so saturated with investment properties that there end up being more properties than renters.
Right.
And to me, that's kind of what got us, or one of those things. It's like my daddy used to say, the good old American farmer, they'll do a good job of putting themselves out of business, because if all of a sudden almonds are a real hot thing, they'll plant acres and acres of almonds until the market's flooded. And again, it's just simple economics. It's supply and demand.
Diversification is what it's a balancing act.
Exactly. In today's market, with the competition that we talked about, Jay, anything under $100,000 is pretty competitive. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a lot of people come in with cash actually, and swoop those right up from people who are trying to get a loan or trying to get some kind of a conventional loan. And I've been seeing a lot of frustration actually, just with individual buyers, because there's a kind of a sentiment that people with cash are coming along and just snapping up all the good deals.
Sure.
And so when something's under $100,000, the offers come in pretty quick for them.
Certainly. Well, we see this on any of the listings that we have, anything under $100,000 or anything under $100,000 that needs a tremendous amount of work. We were just talking before you went on the show. Michelle says,
I have a level of frustration for this subject matter.
Yes, and it just so happens to wet your whistle. We're going to talk about that this next week.
Was that next week?
Yeah, that's next week. 203K financing. Yeah.
All right. I'm excited.
So a lot of folks that come in, and if they don't have the cash, but let me back up. Under $100,000 with a property that needs a lot of work, meaning won't qualify for standard FHA financing, owner-occupied, what we call, or what the industry calls, a 203B loan, has in excess of $5,000 in repairs. The cash investors are coming in, and if let's say the asking price is $100,000, the cash investors are coming in and offering $85,000 and still believing that cash is king. But we're not seeing that cash is still king, because
unless we are dealing with some uneducated agents, and I hate to say that, but that is the case. Those agents who believe they only have a cash offer to sell their property are probably misinformed, because there are ways to finance those properties.
And how many
they're
times
not
do you
seeking
see
out.
that in today's market?
All the time. I'll tell you, anything $150,000 or below, potentially in that, there's more buyers in that arena than any other arena. based on price, based on the price point. So what you end up with...
That's the valley here.
That's the valley. That is the economic situation here. So what you're seeing is those properties that sit on the market a little bit longer, generally there's a deficiency of some kind on the property, broken window, safety, whatever, no carpet, hole in the wall, whatever. Those can be financed, and people need to be but even some of our, like I said, some of our great industry, competitors out there and friends are not educated to the fact that can go financed.
Certainly.
It is not a standard, traditional 3.5% FHA mortgage that they're accustomed to.
Right. So what do you say next week we get them up to speed?
We will. Next week's we're going to power down on that because I really don't want another phone call like I got today.
Yeah.
And my phone call, I submitted 3 offers this morning. I've already gotten, one's already negotiated a deal, so that one's off the table. The second one is in negotiations. We might be back up. The last call I got was from an agent here in the market who is he is I would say a powerful player. Yeah, a powerful player in the market who says to me, that property cannot go financed. It has to go cash. I'm sorry, I said? Excuse me? Well, why would that be? Well, there's some deficiency out in the property, and the bank just wants to see cash. And I'm thinking, bull, but okay, I'm not going to argue with you right now, because really, at the end of the day, a bank, an institution who owns the property is no different than a seller out there. What are they going to net?
My question to the agent as well, and I say this because we deal with some of the same asset managers, and we have these same, and I don't want to say difficult conversations, but when we're asking an asset manager says, cash, I would like to see cash. My first question is why? When when you're pricing this particular property under market with $25,000 in repairs, someone could come in, replace the roof, replace the floor coverings, get the property updated, and still have something really where in today's market they've got, and you don't hear this often, they've got a little equity.
Right.
And it's simply because there's a financing vehicle that allows them to be able to come in, bring the condition of the property up to FHA's minimum property requirements and close the deal.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody. Let's know that. But I'm going to be really direct in saying I have spent some time in the construction arena, and I know that if we were moving these properties in that capacity, that it creates jobs. And that is something that these people are not realizing. Because if a cash buyer comes in, they pay cash for the property, an investor, they fix it up the way they want to. Generally, they're doing it all themselves. They are not contracting that work out. They are not giving our folks out there opportunities for employment in a lot of cases. So what's happening is they're doing their own fix-up, and then they sell the property or they rent the property out. If you go this avenue, they're requiring you use a contractor, a licensed contractor who's out there working his fanny off trying to stay alive. And there's a lot of them out there. And so I just feel like it's detrimental to the entirety of financial stability of our valley when you're not utilizing the tools that we have available. And these first-time home buyers deserve the shot to buy these houses. They really do. I'm an advocate of that. I really am. Because these are the ones priced in the area they need to be. So that we're repairing our market at the same time and not putting them in homes that are beyond their means. So here's the deal. As an advocate for first-time homebuyers or folks that are looking for that entry-level property that has some rough edges, in excess of $5,000 in repairs, it needs a little gingerbread, a little paint, a little carpet, like in one of your clients' instances, maybe the heating unit's been tampered with, been pillaged, or gone. In the attic, totally gone. They really deserve the right to be able to experience homeownership in today's market. And I say that. And I'm not against investors. Don't get me wrong. No. I think it's a free market. We all should be able to do what makes sense. At the same time, the uneducation of our agents out there is what concerns me. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be rather direct. It makes me wonder in whose benefit is the listing agent actually working when they say only cash? Are they looking for the easy way out, or are they looking for doing what's right? And I'm just going to say this. In today's market, I think it's in any market, I think it's extremely important to do what's right. Those folks that don't, that work as a peer in our market, you got to go home, you got to look in the mirror, you got to be able to sleep at night. And hopefully it's not restless sleep because of the decisions that you make. And I'm very direct about that. I'd tell you a story right at the moment, but I'll save it for another show about
agents and how they act in today's market.
Well, and I think
that could be a whole topic.
Yeah, trust me.
Okay, let's not. We might scare people. But let me just say this, though. I think it's really, really an interesting thing. They want to go with what they're used to, and that's really the fault here. It's being comfortable in a particular environment and keeping control of it. And when you have to learn something new, you go out of your comfort zone. And let me tell you, it can be very fearful. So that's where these people would rather just do business as usual and not learn those new items. And thank heavens we're failing forward.
Yeah, there you go.
On a few of these and getting them done.
So, Jay, let's touch on what are what should be some overall primary objectives to earning money from real estate. What should they be? Kind of down and dirty bullet points.
Well, first and foremost, you want to make sure you're getting a good return on investment. That's kind of primarily number one. You're not going to start into an investment project if you're not expecting to get something out of it. So even though it sounds sort of obvious, return on investment is a very large factor in investing. You also want to look at capital appreciation. What you're buying should increase in value over time, and that increase in value is part of what's going to help you as an investor get more equity.
Simply equity, pure and simple. Okay.
Rental income, real big. It's nice to get a stream of income coming in on a regular basis, and so rental income properties make a really great investment.
Many more opportunities today than there have been in the past. That's for doggone sure.
Absolutely.
In order to see positive cash flow when you're purchasing an investment property.
Yeah, especially with house prices being the way they are, a lot of single-family residences are making really great investment properties now. Whereas before, they're always, depending on where you buy, you can always find, maybe a good deal, an individual, single-family home that makes a good rental. But what I see in a lot of today's market is there's a lot of homes that are priced at a point that would make them a very good rental property, even though it's not a multi-unit complex. It's one single-family home, but it makes for a great rental property.
And that's why there's so much competition in today's market.
It is, and you've got people looking for houses actually too that have gone through a foreclosure process, but they're used to living in a house.
Sure.
So they want to actually live in a house again, but maybe they can't afford to buy, like you're saying. That the big, one of the big barriers is a down payment or qualifying for it.
Sure.
Any of those two.
Sure.
And they're out of the game, but they still want to live in a house. So a single-family residence makes for a great rental. So from an investment standpoint, if you can find a good single-family residence and buy it at the right price point, you've got good cash flow right there.
Sure. What are some of the things that you should do first when you're looking to purchase an investment property? What should you do first?
Probably primarily, we want to make sure you're able to play the game. So you want to get pre-approved. You want to talk to a lender, find out what you need to bring to the table as far as cash is concerned. Find out how much you're qualified for, and how much of the bite you can take. And once you're armed with that information, it sort of opens up a whole new world to you. Say, okay, great, I'm pre-qualified for this amount of money, and now I'm on the hunt now for a property that fits within that range, within that dollar amount, and also other investment objectives that you may want to reach.
And so many times as well, above and beyond being pre-qualified or pre-approved, I think is the most important thing. We see when you're submitting an offer, whether it's for an owner-occupied, for any residence, 1 to 4 single family. And again, 1 to 4 units is still considered single family under conforming financing as well as FHA financing. That you've got to be able to if you're going to pay cash, you've got to be able to provide proof of funds. And proof of funds is if you're paying $100,000.
Where's it at?
Yeah, exactly.
Show me where it's at.
And you know what? I had a quick, funny, kind of stupid story. Had a buyer say, we're going to pay cash on this particular property, and it was $125,000, something like that. And they provided me with a bank statement that had $95,000 in the bank.
And you're like,
And I said, okay, and I felt like and then...
Was there like a big pause?
Yeah.
There was like no comment from them?
Where's the...
Rest of it?
So where's the rest of it?
Right.
And
they didn't have it?
Well, we have it. I guess they couldn't.
I find it really interesting.
Couldn't verify it.
Right, but I find it really interesting when somebody who says they want to buy investment properties, one, does not want to provide that. I'm blown away. It's like they think I'm going to share a secret of theirs or something. I'm like, really? I could care less how much money you have in the bank. This is about this house, this transaction, what you're wanting to do we got to have certain tools to go forward with, my friend. And it's really educating
It's
them.
like a mortgage person having a mortgage calculator, or a realtor, quote unquote, having a salesperson's license or a broker's license in order to transact business. It's one of those basic tenets, basic requirements that you've got to have in order to do business in today's market.
And I'll ask a few times, and then I'm thinking, I'm done.
My favorite is I can get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can get that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
The seller wants to ensure that you have it, not that you can get it.
Well, and I find it really interesting and concerning. They don't realize that we as professionals, which I am, when I go to make an offer, I want it to have validity. I want the receiving agent to know when I make an offer, it's real. I'm not playing games. This is not, they don't have time to waste, nor do I.
And that you do that consistently, because I think that's really critical, because it's important that every single time that we step to the table, and that when we step to the table as an agent representing a buyer, that we do it consistently, and that we don't allow the buyer to think that, quote unquote, they're the ones that are driving the ship. I mean, in terms of what do you feel comfortable offering, certainly, but there's certain market variables you just cannot. There's no tweaking. There's no bending. They say proof of funds. You've got to have proof of funds. Otherwise, there's no use in submitting the offer. Jay, real quickly, define for us the difference between a short-term hold, meaning a short-term like we talked about earlier, buy and flip, and a long-term hold.
Well, the short-term holds, basically, like you said, that they're mostly referred to as flips. Most people recognize it as flip. Basically, you buy a property, you put some money into fixing it up, renovating it, making it, look real nice. Then you put it back on the market. And generally speaking, what the investors are typically looking to do is get it out there at a price that's still below market. So you want to buy it really below market at discount. You want to be able to put money into it, and then you want to actually be able to sell it still just right at market or below if you want to move it quickly. That was how it was in the past.
Sure.
Okay, so right now, though, things are moving so quickly, you're more likely to get, at market or even above the way that people,
because of
the
competition.
market is and the competition is so heavy. But before, previously, that was one of the things where a really good flip meant you can buy it at a deep discount, do some fix up, and then still put it on the market at what looks like a discount compared to everything else, so that they swarm in and take it off your hands quickly.
Right. Certainly.
And in the last 10 years or so, those flips that were going on, though, were dependent on the appreciation so rapidly. So I think that's really important to know.
That is a good point. House prices were rising so fast.
So they were not just dependent on improvements. So I think that's the difference in this market versus what we saw in the past. You are dependent on those improvements in most cases because you're not going to get immediate appreciation, which is what was happening in the past. So your flip is a whole new animal. And I think people who want to stick their little toe in the pool better be really careful that they've got a good team of alliance partners. Right. I mean, there are some folks out there who want to try this. Okay, it's not something you risk your life savings on trying. You better have a good alliance group of partners who are going to help you, get those repairs done. And like I said, the contractors are really where it's at when it comes to that, to helping you through that if this is a new experience. That was the quick way to do it, was appreciation. Now, when you talk long-term hold,
long-term hold is when you're looking, you still want to get some capital appreciation out of it. However,
over the long term.
Yeah. But
sorry to state the obvious.
But no, that's a huge difference from these two beasts.
But you also want to get income. When you're buying something for long-term as a property, you're typically expecting to receive some kind of an income, a cash flow out of it. And over time, you will not only will it appreciate in value, but you also get certain tax breaks and tax deductions that follow along with that.
Sure.
And there's also a difference between when you liquidate your property. If you sell it, on short term, you're talking about one tax bracket. You hold it for longer than a year, and now you're moving into a lower tax bracket. And so longer-term investments versus short-term investments have a lot of different strategies.
They have different risks. I mean, long-term hold is you've got a renter in there, and you're giving your property to someone to live in for a time, praying that it comes back the way it should, in a good, positive, way, and you're not having to put a bunch of money into it again. You want to look at what did you just use the term, cash flow? It's got a cash flow.
Cash flow is king. I mean, when you talk about long-term investments, cash flow is king.
Right.
You want to really make sure that when you get involved with it's cash flow generally from the beginning.
Right.
Jay, bullet point for us real quick, because we're running out of time, unfortunately. This is a topic that we could take months and months to talk about, and especially in today's market, there's so many angles that you can look at. But bullet point for us, what are the most important variables that you need to keep your eye on when you're looking to purchase an investment property?
Price, first and foremost, is a major thing. Price, condition, investment capital needed.
So the amount of money that you're either going to pay cash for the property or put down on the property.
Correct. The condition of the property, and also the tax. You want to also take a look at tax.
The tax ramifications or tax
involved
implications.
with that.
Okay.
And you also want to make sure that you're looking at the environmental variables. A lot of different things can affect what you pay monthly for your house.
Sure.
Whether it's insurance, taxes, homeowners association dues, things like that, can really eat away at your cash flow if you're not careful from the beginning to.
And location is real critical as well, correct?
It's location.
Oh, I've heard that before somewhere.
Yeah, once or twice.
And also, when you talk about cash flow, just to bring in real quick, in today's market, competitive market in the Central Valley, multifamily properties, obviously huge, because you're able to buy, when we say buy doors, if it's 4 doors at $100,000, it's greater cash flow. I mean, pure and simple. And the numbers don't lie. Well, I tell you what, if it is a situation where you have any real estate or real estate financing related questions or questions regarding the information that we cover here on the show, we would love to hear from you again. Call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958 or check out our resources online at reofresnohomes.com or just press for keyword
KMJ, call Valleywide
to get connected to us anytime. Jay, thank you. Jay Orlowski.
Thanks for having me on, Craig.
Thanks so much for coming in, buddy. A big thank you to Michelle Pettiscavalli, my special guest host, as always. And a big special thank you to Johnny B behind the mics. Johnny makes us sound so good. Well, our goal is to get you the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you back home. Don't forget to tune in to the Real Estate Radio Network next Sunday at 7 a.m. on 105.9, the FM KMJ. Local news, local talk. Make it a great day, Central Valley, and we will see you next week.
The preceding program was paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.